And say, welcome, beautiful ones. Welcome, welcome. It's so crazy how like December 18th seemed so far away, and now it's like, oh my gosh, I was about to say something more exclamative. Oh my God. It's
Go for
uh
it.
it's December 18th. It's wild how quickly the end of the year, at least for me, this last the season that we've been through here with Astrology of the Magi has really flown by. Sherry, I see you nodding your head. Do you feel like time
Yeah.
has run like a little? What about you, Kimber, Mare?
Oh, yeah.
What's your experience with time?
It's
Time
it's
is
not cruel.
really eludes me.
I'm like, should we get into the quantum physics of it all? That it's really just an illusion? No, just
Right, absolutely.
In my world, definitely.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, it's just it's wild that like just that whole idea of it being this illusionary concept that we all subscribe to, and also, the Gregorian calendar, same deal, that we're all on board with these things, that how it monitors our time, and yet like there's all this movement within it. But that will be a topic for another day. Maybe that's something that we can bring back. I'm excited, as we no, as we wrap
You want to get out of town, I know.
as
Right?
we wrap up this astrology of the Magi towards it's going to be a shortish lesson because there's not as much involved with connections with the transformed self, which is the final topic that I wanted to talk about. Hello, Mama. Welcome back from Tai Chi. Um,
World.
that we will talk about the trajectory of where this is all headed. I gave a little sneak peek last week to some of the thoughts that were percolating and how it is continuing to take shape. But without further ado, let's dive in to the transformed self, and then we'll have plenty of time for Q&A and all of that at the end and personal shares. So I'm gonna present this large. Okay, so this is it. We are already at key 12. And this one is less about your relationships with other people and more about your relationship with yourself. And I am curious. I'm curious for the conversation that we'll have about this, because this is a newer concept. This is definitely considered an advanced concept. It was first introduced in this book, which is Exploring the Little Book of Seven Thunders. And this is more in depth. And what I love about the Magi card science system is that, yes, it is ancient, 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 ancient wisdom that is really just being revealed in a very public way and being understood. And there are so many pieces of the puzzle that, as you can imagine, for millennia, this system of understanding ourselves, kind of what I call the soul roadmap, has been secret. It has not been allowed to be to shared from one person or another. There is no manual, there is no book. And so what Robert Lee Camp, my teacher, does, and a lot of people who are studying this, is study different people, study themselves, and come up with names and understandings of the cards and what they mean. So this is a cool topic, I think, to end this astrology. So it's not there is no astrological basis. There is no planet called the transformed self. Although it has similarities to the planet Pluto. Pluto is known as, it's our furthest out planet, and in astrology, Pluto is the planet that creates change and transformation. So the difference between Pluto and the transformed self, what I want to say right off of the bat is that because we do get Pluto cards every year, we also get a transformed self card every year and in our lifetime. But Pluto is really pushing you to face something, that there's a challenge that you have to work towards. Whereas what we'll talk about with the transformed self, that is more of a goal. it is something that you achieve. It is a higher version of yourself either in your lifetime, and that's what we're going to look at today is our transform self cards. But we get them every year as well. And so it's just kind of pointing you in how to up level. Like when you up level, this is how you can present, whether in this year or in this lifetime. And so I let's get into it. Okay, so I think that kind of is this, the meaning, blah, blah, blah. Okay. Oh, and I added the song. This says karmic relationships still, because I went back and forth. I was like, there is a small connection. There is somebody who can represent your transformed self. We'll talk about that, but it's not like a connection like all the other ones. The song that I really love for the transformed self is by Fia. If you haven't heard of Fia before, she has an album called Made of Stars. It's beautiful. It's so beautiful. So this one called Shedding Skin is about the transformed self, right? Like how we let go of what was and we are stepping into the newest and best version of ourselves. So there's that. Okay. You can get so many pictures of butterflies today. Okay, so what is this? So it doesn't matter the time period, it is a signpost. So of the higher expression of you and or your personality. So it is, yeah, kind of like a goal, but goal is like your life is going to prepare you. It's leading you to become this transformed version of yourself, right? If you are intentionally being the I was going to say the creator of your life, you're in the driver's seat of your life. If you are really intentional about using the lessons of your life to steer you onwards and upwards, the transformed self is the part of you that is revealed in later years. So that's why I am somewhat excited because I want to talk with my two mamas and see, do you feel like you have embodied your transformed self at this point as it's reflected in the cards? Even Mayor Kimberly and myself, like I'm curious. I would think that somebody younger, such as Brian, who's part of this membership group, he is, at 30, I'll tell you what, at 30, I hadn't even really begun my journey. I hadn't even entered into my dark night. And that's different for different energies. That's just me, being that quote unquote, I mean, but it's true. Like the 10 of diamonds, the most blessed card. I really did have a very blessed childhood and young adult life. And it wasn't until midlife that I had my grand awakening, but I do think I have accelerated in some ways. So I look at that transform self card and wonder, like, have I arrived or am I arriving? That's probably the best way. But it represents something to attain or acquire a greater expression of who you are. And it's an opportunity. It's not like where it differentiates from Pluto. Pluto is like, this is a challenge, go, like lean into this, learn from this. This is more like it's there. It's almost like the goal. Yeah, or the ultimate destination. And I say that with like reverence of sometimes when we arrive, there's another destination. I often think about the first time I had the privilege to ski at Vail, Colorado, that huge ski resort. You go to where you think you're at the top of the mountain, and then you're at the top of the mountain, and then you see like another range, and you ski down, and then you get to the top of that, and there's another one. So it's kind of like that with the journey through life. Like, is there an ultimate destination? I think until we leave our bodies, there are many, many destinations to come. So let's see how this goes. So there are no transform self connections in the way we've been talking about connections. Like we've been talking about how, for example, Mars is 3 cards over, or you can have mutual connections, you can have spiritual connections, past life Mars connections. There's none of that with the transformed self. However, this is the one little caveat. Anybody with the birth or planetary ruling card of your transformed self card may play the role of a signpost, like helping you along towards your transformation. And that could be your yearly one. This is a newer concept to me. So even when I look at my roadmap for the year, the transform self is not something that I've written down on my little cheat sheet that I look at. So I really only have been using this in terms of understanding my birth card and my planetary ruling card, like end game, like big goals. But you can do it yearly as well. It's just not a practice I've started yet. Um, so somebody who again is represented by this card will be a good relationship for you. They'll remind you of what you're reaching for, and their presence may speed up the process of transformation. Okay, so here we go. Applying this. This is the cool part about numerology. The transform self and the number 13. And this is part of how Robert Lee Camp arrived at looking at this pattern. Again, he's got a very brilliant mind. He is a Queen of Diamonds, Ace of Diamonds person, and he studies patterns and it makes sense to him. And so the number 13 is significant in the Magi because there are 13 cards in each suit from ace to king. King is number 13. And the king, being the master of the suit, embodies all the knowledge up there. So that's like huge. To be the king of the suit is that master number. Every calendar year, we have 13 new moons. So we're going to have our last new moon, by the way, of 2024, right before the turning of the calendar on the 30th. So we get 13 new moons in a calendar year. There are 13 weeks in our 4 seasons, and there are 13 cards in our life path. So when we talk about your soul roadmap, your life path, your the basic understanding, like all the knowledge that is the manual for you of what kind of energies you can expect to experience throughout your lifetime. The 13th one is the end of your path, and then it's just cards after that. So all the cards around you, it's from, as you count over to 13, and that's the end of your roadmap or your life path. So the 13th card is our transform self. So, but what we do with counting it is actually, if you need to count with your birth card or your planetary ruling card is number 1. And then the 13th card or 12 spaces over is the transformed self. So what I thought I would do is, instead of doing this, I'm going to stop this share because we're only going to need the life spread for this to see the transformed self cards. I'm going to pull up this instead because I think we'll see if this is easier. I think it'll be bigger and easier to see that. That is, let's see if I can do it like this. Any questions before we dive in to see our transformed self, people? Are you curious? Is this
Hey.
hey?
No, I'm good. Keep going.
Okay. All right.
Keep
So what I
going.
think we're gonna do is, because I mean we're a small group here, and did I hit record?
Yeah,
Yes,
you
believe
did.
you did.
you did.
Yes. Winning. Okay, we're gonna just go from the top to the bottom, and we're gonna do a little bit of counting. So just be patient here. But we'll start because Mare's card is up here. She's up here. And so one of the things that Mare and I have been talking about is, as she is a Magi Mastery student, is becoming familiar with what's considered like your neighborhood of cards. So, Mare, when I talk about your neighborhood of cards, it's because you have those 13 cards in your life path. So to count, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Did I count that right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I feel like, oh wait, 13. I'm just gonna double check. It's so
Like,
many,
you're leaving me hanging. I'm like,
so many cards to count. Let me just verify this in my book to make sure that I can count. Yeah, it's the
Please
5
hold.
of spades. It's the 5 of spades for you.
Yeah.
And the
Okay,
five
good.
of spades is considered that card of like almost like up leveling in all areas of your life, like change in all areas of your life. I would say, let's see if he has a name for it. The Traveler, Restless Living card, but part of your soul is here to like to change. Yeah, I would just say change all areas of your life. No, that's your
I
transform.
see it. I see it. Yes, 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 yes.
Awesome. Okay, let's try this again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Ooh, that's a big one, girl. Nine of spades.
Pardon me, my phone. So
So the
sorry.
nine of spades is, I'm just verifying that, yeah, I'm counting correctly.
So
The
my
nine,
birth, okay, so birth is 5 of spades, and you said my planet ruling card is the nine of
nine and
clubs,
nine
nine of
of
spades.
spades.
Ooh,
Spades. So five and
nice.
nine of spades, that's change and endings
Love it.
in all areas of your life.
I love it. I love it.
So that's we'll come back and talk more about that if you want. But you see how like all of this top three rows are your neighborhood because you have not just connections with these cards, but they speak to where you are growing and evolving into. And Mara's really the only one I think in the membership who is up here in this part of the Grand Solar Spread. The next people are down here. So both the Ace of Diamonds and the Queen of Diamonds, Mom and Kimber, you guys are just one space apart for each other. So I'm gonna count Mom, so that's 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So you, Mom, ooh, that King of Clubs is the master of your mind. Really becoming the wait for it. Wait for it. Did I do that wrong?
Yeah,
Wrong.
that
This is
was Kimberly.
that's Kimberly.
Kimberly's the queen of diamonds.
Okay. Right. Okay. Kimberly, the master of your mind, becoming the master of all things with your mindset. Mom, becoming the great communicator, the card of communication.
I
That's
can see
pretty
that
funny.
for both of you. I can see that.
Transform self cards. I'm just
Mhm.
gonna
Yeah,
do
so Kimber's is the king of clubs
clubs,
and Blythe's is
the two
the
of
jack,
clubs. No,
the two of
mom's is
clubs. Okay.
the two of clubs.
Okay.
So there's that. And then I'll do your planetary rulers in just a second. But then Sherry with the nine of hearts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. The two of spades, I'm just going to double check that. The two of spades that's kind of an interesting, like that is the card. Well, it's the friendship card. It's also known as like, he talks about, and I'm not sure where this comes from, but it being the card of Aquarius, like future vision, like where we are headed. I that's just in his books. I can't really like I haven't figured I'm like and when I hop on a call with him one of these days, I will ask again, like, what is that? Where does that idea come from of the two of spades being this future vision? But it's also the friendship card. Um, and it could be for sure like partnerships with work, but it's really known as the friendship card is your transform self card. Now, we have a couple ruling cards that we could do as well, and I might just look these up because I feel like that person in you guys remember Sesame Street? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9,
7, 8, 9, 10, 11,
11,
12.
12. Do 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 do.
Nancy will sing it to you.
Do 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 do. Mama, your other one for the 7 of clubs, if you count over 12, is it really just like that? Is it that easy? I guess so. Down 2. I'm looking to see how to count the squares. Is the 8 of hearts. The Eight of Hearts is the card of emotional power. I would say it is a big love energy card, all about owning, yeah, power in love, like healing your own wounds, healing other people through the power of love. It can be power with people, because the Eight of Hearts is a very charming card and like, yeah, a big, powerful love energy card would be your other transformed self. You're nodding your head. Oh, Sherry, where do we want to go? Which
Definitive.
cards do we want to do next? I've been preparing the soul roadmaps for Trinity Hot Springs, and I'm telling you, when it comes to the Scorpios, I'm like, oh my gosh, there's so many cards. I'm overwhelmed. Okay, so yours is the Six of Spades for your Queen of Spades. That can't be right. Oh, I guess it is. Yeah. The Six of Spades. And the Six of Spades card, that's a super karmic card. So right now you have at this point two spade cards, just like Mare had two cards of the spade. And that's also important to notice is that because spades represent the winter season. And the winter, if we think about the winter of our lives, it is in our wisdom years, known as the crone for the woman, right? You have the maiden, the mother, and the crone. But the crone has such a negative connotation. I think about it as like the sage, the almost like the medicine woman or the wise woman who has the answers. Like that's like spades represent that wisdom. And so for Mare, you having the 5 and the 9, the change in the endings, and then Sherry having that card of communication, and then the 6 of spades is like it is a card of fate. It is a super fated card about responsibility. Like all sixes have to do with karma and responsibility, and specifically to work and to health, your own health, and to your career. Um, yeah. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And then your Pluto. So you're the Queen of Spades and then you're the King of Clubs too, right? Yeah, your Pluto card. And the King of Clubs, it's going to be up in the crown line. Let me look at the King of Clubs. The transform. Oh, look at that. The transformed self of the King of Clubs. This is when it gets so weird when you look at how this counts. How is the King of Clubs actually 13 spaces away from the Three of Hearts? We can count it, but the Three of Hearts. The Three of Hearts is your transformed self of the King of Clubs person. So this is also true for Chloe. So Mare, when you see that you being the Three of Hearts, when you know of somebody who is the representation of your transformed self card, that person, if you have a relationship with them, can be somebody who helps accelerate your transformation. The Three of Hearts, the meaning of the Three of Hearts is, well, I'm going to ask Mare. Would you say is the
I
essence
I
of your Three
just
of
wish
Hearts
I
card?
knew. I wish I knew. I just don't know. Okay.
Okay, got it.
I do. Are you kidding me? I know.
Oh, I'm like, okay.
Come on now.
You know.
It's it's the creativity and love. It's
Mhm.
the threes, my favorite number.
Yeah, so threes represent
Mm.
the creativity. Yeah, and
Yes.
the heart is definitely love. And part of the Three of Hearts is with any three, it's the expression. Like, how do you express yourself? How do you express your feelings, your emotions, your needs, your desires, your wants, um, through love? And it can be, yeah, and depending on where this card falls in a roadmap, it changes the meaning just slightly. But I would say, as far as it being a transform self card, like that's part of the transformation is being able to express your feelings and your emotions.
Hmm.
Yeah. And there could be also the idea of going out and meeting different people. Um, that could be, you know, threes have different,
Yeah.
yeah, going out and meeting people. So there, and then Kimber, did we get your second card? I don't think we did.
We didn't.
For the three of spades, your transformed self. Here we go, three of
Well,
spades.
now is the king of clubs my transformed self?
I had
For one card.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Yeah, you're gonna have, just like with all cards, so we all have, except for Sherry has 3 roadmaps in life. The rest of us have 2.
Okay.
Leos have 1 roadmap. They're like double down, like on their roadmap. So your first one is the mastery of the mind. That's what the
Okay.
Queen of Diamonds is here. And then for the 3 of spades, it's the 4 of diamonds, stability in the financial house, protection over finances.
So that's my second card.
Yeah, transform self cards. So these are like higher expressions. If does that make sense when I say it's a higher expression of your card? So the higher expression for me for the 4 of spades is my transformed self is the 5 of diamonds, which is the card of change in finances and values. So I see like a higher expression because 4 of spades is all about protection and stability and creating a stable life. And there's like a change. I'm needing to change my values, maybe move away from materialism into something greater. That is one way to look at that transformed self. And then the Jack of Clubs is the card of spiritual initiation and creativity and expression. So those are, you know, those are areas where I'm like, okay, you know, it's just kind of something else. An advanced topic. It's a newer concept for me. I'm not sure how this lands on you. So let me ask you, does this make sense? Does it resonate? Is it where did this land for you?
Mine really does. The mastery of knowledge and then the protection and of the home financially.
Of
Right.
finances?
Yeah.
That feels like something that you're
Yeah, that feels like I'm just right there at the doorstep.
and that's lovely. And that would make sense because you are in what period of your life? As we go further in our life, we start seeing like, oh,
I'm
and our
seeing it.
value, like things change. Like our stories help us along, our all the life lessons.
So it really makes sense. Yeah.
Mom or Sherry, I'd be curious to know if how this like resonates with you or where you feel like you are in your life path, if this higher octave of yourself, if there's any takeaway from it. Is it a worthwhile topic also?
Yes. Yes, it is. It is definitely a worthwhile topic.
Completes the roadmap.
It does create the road.
So Mom, again, yours being in communication, the card of communication, and then of emotional love power. I mean, that's how I synopsize these cards.
Mm-hmm.
It's an interesting think,
Mhm.
and it's something to sit and think about. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but you know, this is my first peek at it, so I'm a little.
Yeah. But would you say that that's something that you've been learning in this lifetime is like communication and how to use the power of love? Oh, I feel like we need a song.
The power.
Right.
Bring me
Thank
the
you.
power. Bring me the, you know it.
That resonates for me, just knowing as much as I know about Blythe. You are you're so lovely in your heart and your communication and your relationships. And then that two of clubs is, what is the two of clubs again? What's that mean?
It's called the conversation card.
Uh-huh. Well,
Conversation card
you're
or
really good at that too, Blythe.
how you
Right?
communicate.
Sometimes.
I always joke about my mom and her long goodbyes. Like just a one quick thing. 25 minutes
Right?
later. You're leaving the party.
A lot to absorb.
It is. That's exactly what I was just
It is.
thinking. It's a lot to absorb. I've taken a bunch of notes and
Yeah.
now I have to read back and see what they say
It is a
and
lot.
then what they mean.
It is a lot. And it's not, I mean, sometimes it's just like just taking an essence and be like, oh, huh, let me think about that. Like, do I feel like I've evolved in
Exactly.
how I communicate with others? Do I feel like I have started to hone my emotional love power?
Hmm.
Mare, what about you with those big cards? 5 and 9 of spades are pretty
They
intense.
are pretty big.
Mhm.
Well, I know that I've changed because I was reading my daily pages
Uh-huh.
from, was it just before Teo? And so I can see the flow of my writing. I can see how I talk to myself is changing. I can see boundaries I'm putting out for myself, which is
Wow.
terrifying. And there's all the, will I still be accepted? Will I still be? So I've changed my attitude about work, money, and health. Those are the two things that these two cards represent for me. And having uh, my long range card be the ace of spades, which is, you know, the magi. I kind of know that I do know that I am going down the right path. Um, like today, I mean, when we came back from Teo, when you said it would change my life, you weren't kidding, because I made promises to myself, holding on to Lisa in that little cave thing. And I've
Oh
reached
gosh.
like, that was after I came to, after Jesus
Okay.
blessed my head.
Get the
Uh,
blessing from you.
yeah. But like I've reached my weight goal before Christmas. I've
Hey,
I'm walking around with less of a cane and more of a it's just there in case I need it kind of
that's so
thing.
awesome.
Um,
Spiritual fitness.
yeah. And I'm living as if because that's a Wayne Dyer's big thing is live as if. So everything we have, Phil wrote himself the check, put it in his pocket,
Oh, I love
and
that.
I've just been putting numbers as if I'm already there. I've already
Yeah.
got it, already happening. So for me, the changes and the endings and stuff, I think the changes in the way I look at my health,
Mm.
um, I've had to actually, it even goes back to because with my health, sometimes I don't have a say, right? The medical beast kind of tells me what it wants, and I can fight it, but I've noticed that when I fight it, I get out of alignment and then
Mhm.
it shuts me down. So I'm
Mhm.
looking at that better now and going, okay. I have a lot of guilt around letting my health take over. And it's
Mm.
been 2004 I fought this. So it's just now at 57 that I'm finally, how many years later, realizing that if I don't listen, it will take me down and I don't want to. So I really am. I used to say, oh, I'm going to coexist, but I never really knew what that meant. It just sounded good.
Yeah.
But now I'm learning, like, okay, I can coexist with it and I can have a productive life and a life that actually, you know, is healthy, which is,
That's awesome. Yeah, those spades definitely do speak to, for sure, health and career. But again, that spade pulls all elements in. So it could be,
yeah.
I mean, so I always look at it as like the big up leveling, the big,
Mhm.
you
Yeah.
know, that's awesome. Thank you for sharing
Mhm.
that. That's really cool.
Cool.
What
Of
about
course.
you, Sherry, with that two of spades, I guess the friendship card, the six of spades, so those two spades, it's kind of like responsibility towards our health and career, also towards wisdom. I always think that the spades represent wisdom, and then the expression expression of feelings and thoughts, emotions.
The responsibility really resonates with me. I've been overly responsible most of my life, and now it's just getting down to just self-responsibility.
That's huge.
As far as just looking back over the different chapters has been quite revealing in a way. I think the idea of friendship has always been the most important thing. I've always felt that we choose our friends and they become, really intimate family. Today is my friend Louise's birthday. She resides in heaven, but the gifts that you share through friendship are just amazing, and they never leave. They're gifts that we carry with us. And she was the type of person that she was just this open, loving, beautiful woman, very intelligent and very forthright. Quick example, we were meeting another friend for dinner who is habitually late. And she said, okay, we'll give her 10 minutes and then we leave. I would never have done that, but she would, and I would have walked out with her. But the idea of responsibility, I think the way I get it mirrored back, I was with my granddaughter yesterday, and just sitting there listening to her, being very clear about things that I would never have been clear about, was really a gift, because I'm very clear with her. I say what I see, and in many ways.
And she's that perfect reflection of you, right,
Yes,
Gavin? Because you
yes,
guys share, and so these are also where she will be going. And our hope is, right, that the younger generations will just get there
yeah,
faster. They have so much more.
light,
Yeah, light. Yeah.
yeah,
And
light,
people who speak have real, like the conversations that we have, like how it changes through. That's
right,
beautiful. So she's got the light.
yeah. And I think that as far as that exchange, we've been out together, just the two of us, a couple of times recently, and it just really makes me feel good that she's choosing differently than I did, because we have a similar challenge. We
Yeah.
have had similar challenges, and it really is a way of mirroring to me the path that I've taken. As
Mm,
far as the transformative card, I'm not sure. Um,
yeah.
the family's all starting to come in. They started the other day, and it's going to be fun.
Yeah.
Have a good time. And Karen comes in Sunday, so that will be fun. And then we have a gathering of, I'm the elder. The aunties are with their niece and nephew making cookies here.
Okay.
And it's going to be so much fun. And to be able to carry that, because I do still feel that I'm on a fence between Idaho and California.
Yeah.
And I think I've just come to terms where I accept that. I'm a Californian and I'm living in Idaho, and I honor everybody I meet, and that's my work, right now.
Yeah.
So aside, and I agree with about your mom. She really is a communicator, whether it's teaching or just discussing. It is. She's just amazing. And it's good because I'm more quiet, but or quieter. And yeah, this is interesting to me. I get just concerned about what am I doing now? I'm you could be very active. I was very active working and having
Yeah.
groups and all that.
Yes.
And then it's like nothing.
Yeah.
So anyway, it's a challenge right now to really see that.
And to pull back the balance from everybody else, like being responsible and then having
Yeah,
it to be about like, how about me? What about
Yeah.
me
right.
right now? To pull that
I'm
balance.
good about not getting into my kids.
Mm,
And I just back up and know that it's their life that they're doing. And I don't, I just love them. That's it.
yeah, that's beautiful. That's the way, that's a beautiful offering as a mother, just to love.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Cool. Well, yeah. Transform self is an interesting little nugget that isn't talked about a lot, but I think that it's just kind of fun to see again where perhaps you are growing into or something that is just a higher octave and it completes out your roadmap that it's like,
Yeah.
there you go, that's your destination. Um, so this wraps up the Astrology of the Magi, the course where we went through the 12 keys to your relationships. And now I want to turn it over to you. If you, I mean, this is wild to think back to, like this was October and then we had November and now here we are in December. So we have spent, and this has been a very, what I've come to realize, a very knowledge-based
Mhm.
course of study for the last uh 12 weeks, and it's been, somewhat, perhaps I often think about my mom when I'm like, wait, what is she going to get away from this, like what is she going to take away from this, because it's a lot. And for people who haven't studied astrology or just the concepts of the planets and how the planets speak to us, it can be overwhelming. And as I really think about my business and the offerings that I have, I want what I teach to be not just knowledge based, but applicable.
Yeah.
Or and part of me thinks that maybe I took a turn a little heavy into the knowledge and the system. And so I want to know from you guys, like, what, when you look at this list of stuff that we have been talking about over the last 13 weeks, what sticks? What are your takeaways? Yeah, what are your takeaways? I'll just leave the question at that. What are your takeaways?
Mm.
Good and bad. I can take it.
Well, everybody just faces off. Dum, 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 dum.
Yeah, I can say that I'm hungry for more. I want to understand it.
Mm,
So I'm fascinated by it. Um,
Yeah.
I've played with tarot my whole life since I was 16, and I
mhm.
never heard about this until I met you.
Yeah.
And there's some reason for that. I'm ready for it now. I'm
Yeah.
ready to accept that. And yeah, I'm very intrigued by it. It really resonates. Every card and description fits in. So I want more.
Cool.
Yeah. And the negatives are there because sometimes you don't want to know it,
Mm. Like,
but
if
that's okay
do
too.
you feel like you learned a little bit about the essence, say, like if I talk about Jupiter, like, and if you hear about Jupiter and something that Jupiter is doing, like actually on the full moon was conjunct Jupiter on Sunday. So Jupiter
Over my head.
is still
Don't
over
get
your
it
head.
all
Okay.
right, but would love to. Would love to understand the planets,
Mhm.
and I think I think they do clearly affect me. Astrology has always been right dead on, you know.
Mhm.
Um, they do affect me, and I think it will lend me energy on the path forward to, get her done. So,
Does anybody feel like they walked away like and be like, "Oh, I didn't know that Jupiter was this, but now I know that Jupiter is this."
No.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't know anything about the planets until you
Mm-mm.
came about. Yeah, really.
The second part of that question is, do you now? Or do you
Learning,
learning? Okay.
That depends. Are you going to test me right now?
Right now,
Because
Mayor.
I'm sorry, there's a business connection. What? I
yeah,
barely hear you.
so the
I'm in a
deal is,
tunnel.
what is the influence of Jupiter, teacher?
Well,
That's right.
Jupiter is the planet. It is the largest planet in our solar system, and it's known as the Great Benefic. Like it is very generous. So there's no bad influence around Jupiter unless you overdo it in any kind of way. So your Jupiter connections are all really positive connections. If Jupiter with this full moon that we just had was a really positive because that only happens once every 12 years. It takes
Wow.
Jupiter a year to go through an astrological sign. And so you have to wait for that full moon, yeah, for it to come together. So it just is a big giant blessing of abundance. You know, and if I think about it, if I think about my study of astrology, it definitely didn't come in 12 weeks and I was like, "Ooh, great, learned that," you know, and neither did, you know, and this is not the type of program where I have zero desire to test you guys in your knowledge. You probably have zero desire to be tested
Good.
in knowledge, but it's more of an exposure
Yeah.
to the understanding and just knowing that on a bigger level, what we talk about in astrology is reflected in the Magi, and in the tarot as well. They're based on similar systems, which is all about our ever expanding universe and us
Mhm.
in this bouncing ball hurling through space, you know, trying to make sense and meaning out of our lives based on the planet. So, you know, these are things that this is like such a great foundation, I think, in many ways to you can always come back to this. I am in the process of changing everything over to one platform where everything will be much more easily accessible than rather than having to chase things down. That is part of my my growth with Let Love Rise. But if you ever want to come back and listen to something on Mars, you know, it's available to you. Or if you want to hear again about what does Uranus mean, or spirit cards and soul cards, it's it's a foundation for understanding how the system works, coupled with the numerology that we did um, in the summer. That being said, I have made a decision that I want to
Woo,
share
look
with
at
you all. I know,
you.
look at my new picture. I got all these
I love it.
pictures
That's
taken.
beautiful. Yeah.
Isn't that lovely? He might not be able to say my name, but he can take a good picture. I was saying, Mom, that Travis,
What?
like, it's a joke now that he just cannot like not call me Andrea or Andrea or, and I'm like, just call me Andy. It's funny. We'll see. We'll see how he does this weekend. But what I have come to realize is that what I understanding the system is for certain people. Mare, I know, is super into it. I'm super into it. Kimber, you've expressed interest in learning it more. But there's a way that we can learn it through kind of slowing it down, which is what winter is all about.
Mhm.
And so, as I think about how I would like to direct the course of my new year, and I'm thinking about the entire freaking 2025 year, I'm going to look to the wisdom of this ancient system and use that to guide my teaching and my readings for people. So in the winter, which is kicking off, as we all know, with the solstice on Saturday night, we're going to take a little break over the holidays, but the Joyful Soul Circle is now the official name for the membership program, the Joyful Soul Circle. And it just feels really resonant and right for me. I feel like that's I look forward to our time together. It brings me a lot of joy to be in circle and in community um, with you. And I, of course, want to invite you to continue forward with me as we're looking at the winter season, concentrating on the north. It's represented by the spade in the Magi, and the spade and the winter season and our true north. It's kind of like our transformed self. It's like, where are we headed? And to get there, what the spade and the winter season talks us talks to us about is we get there by going within. I mean, the trees like have let everything go, right? They are bare bones and just, at their essence, their rawest essence. So we're going to be headed in this direction. This is going to be the theme of the Joyful Soul Circle in the wintertime. And on New Year's Day, we're going to kick it off. I always like to do the very first of a season a little bit different. You might remember, Kimberly, we had it out at Magic View. Some of us were live there to kick off this season, the Astrology of the Magi. This one is going to be online. It's New Year's Day, and it is going to be a little bit different timing than our normal. And I also wanted to talk to you about timing, but this is really the Winter Wisdom Circle is just on this July 1st. That's what I'm calling this first date. It is going to be about setting intentions and intentionally co-creating 2025 because it coincides with the beginning of the year and also just the winter season. So we're going to be going back to the concept of a lot more of the mindset topics and of how to like where we're at and where we want to be. How do we get there? How do we bridge that gap? What are the things that are going to help us to make that shift, to create the life that we want to live? Like, how do we step into that if we're not there? And if we are there, part of what I love about a circle is the community, how we can help others with ideas and contributions to what we see. And sometimes we're unable to see ourselves as well as we can see other people. And so it's in community when other people like you guys just did today for reflecting back to my mom about her communication abilities, that is a higher version of herself, that she is a great communicator. And that you can see that in her, whereas she might look at that and be like, meh, right? So
Okay.
so yeah, so on New Year's Day, it is going to be a Zoom class or a Zoom circle from 11 to 1. Like a little bit longer because it's going to be, we are going to be setting intentions and sharing, and it's a circle, so it's definitely a share time. So that's going to kick off the winter season, and here's what is different. So one of the things that I am playing with, because a lot of people have communicated to me like, I love your membership idea, but I can't come on Wednesday mornings. So, what I wanted to ask all of you is how would it be for you if we do alternate weeks? So I'm thinking that the first and third, and if there is a fifth Wednesday, as there is in January, that those stay at our time, our 10 a.m. time slot. Those are the morning. There would be morning circles, but then the second and the fourth would be an
Ooh.
evening opportunity. And by evening, I'm still looking at the time. I'm like, what does evening mean? Is the evening 5 o'clock? Is it 7 o'clock? Is it 6 o'clock? But that we would alternate. Everyone would be recorded. So, and the other thing that I want to say for everybody here is that the membership price level that you're at, I have grandmothered, I'm gonna say grandmothered, you all in at your membership price. So so that can just continue on an ongoing basis. I am going to be coming up with a year-long membership if people would like to, and then you can it can reduce the price. But you guys, most of you guys are in at the founding members price, so nothing is less than that. So
Yeah,
um,
I get
but
it.
so I'm thinking of Wednesday mornings and then Wednesday evening, Wednesday morning, Wednesday evening. So let me just ask that question. Does that work for you? Does that sound confusing or exciting or neutral?
Or
I'm a creature of habit, so but yeah, I just have to write it down and then call often and say, "What was it? What's today?"
Right.
time
I
is it
know,
today?
and
What time
and
is
that
it
would be a
today?
part of my communication too, because this would be a little tricky for me. I know that my mom does a lot on this type of schedule where she has classes on the second Tuesday of the month, and I'm always like, I have no idea what that means, what day that is, so I need to know
Date
what,
is that? Right.
right.
I
So there
also
would
have a
always
calendar
be,
that
what's that, Mom?
I also have a calendar that I refer to all the time.
Yeah.
Daily.
And it is right there, but
So I can do
I
that.
like this idea.
Yeah, I can do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, me too.
Okay. Is there a time of evening that would be better? Because the other thing is the reach is a little bit bigger. There are some people on Pacific time. I have some people on East Coast time as well. So trying to figure out like what is a good time. I'm
Right.
thinking 6 or 7.
If
But I
we
don't,
do 6 o'clock our time, or we do 7 o'clock our time, then the Callies will get it at 6. That's
6.
probably a good time.
And then
But
East
that might
Coast,
be their dinner time.
yeah,
East Coast would then be 8,
would be yeah,
Eesh.
7 or 8. Yeah. I think
7,
there's
8,
one
9.
person,
They're
yeah,
2 hours ahead.
full East
Mm.
Coast. I think the person that I have is just what's between Mountain Time and East Coast time, whatever that time is,
2
Central.
hours difference.
Central. So, and she
Mm.
might be able to do 8 o'clock. And again, here's the thing: if you're unable to make it, it'll be recorded, so you can always go back and listen on replay. And I'm again finding an easier way to have access to the recordings, have it all in one place. Stay tuned. There's a lot. The pipelines. But
Always.
did want you to potentially mark your calendars for if you don't have plans on January 1st and you want to kickstart your year with an intentional circle, that is going to be 11 to 1 on New Year's Day, because it's a Wednesday. It's a Wednesday. And the Joyful Soul membership, kind of what we've been doing is this, what I'm going to be referring to as the Obsidian group. The Obsidian level is our group time together where we meet. It's solid, it's foundational, it's protective, it is for the collective. And And then if there's anybody who's looking, really wants to go from a point A to a point B and can use extra support, that's what I'll be talking about. I'll be sharing more about that at Trinity, and then on January 1st about how if you would like to up level and work with me privately one-on-one twice a month, in addition to the membership circle, that you could join at the Ruby level. And the real intention behind that is to, if you have a goal, if there's something that you're working towards, we're gonna get you there from A to B, from Munchkin Land to the Emerald City with your Ruby slippers. And then I think I announced last week that I'm also wanting to coordinate the Soul Growth Book Club book with the theme of the season. And so I am choosing Untethered Soul by Michael Singer. I read it in 2020, and it is probably the book that I have the most comments in. I have written all over this book. It's all about who are you when you are not your name, you're not your job, you're not your body, you're not you. Who are you? Who is the soul of the person? So Untethered Soul by Michael Singer. You can get it on Audible or hard copy. And that's optional. And that's the other thing that I'm still playing with. Part of me thought about adding on I don't know. I don't know if I want to do every Sunday. I don't know if I want to do every Sunday. So I would love any input there on Untethered Soul, if it's a Sunday book club or if it somehow gets pulled into membership. Like it's an addition. I don't know if I want to do an additional hour either. I don't know.
Yeah,
Is it a brainy book? Is it like something we're going to really study?
it's a
I-
wonderful book.
Yeah,
But is it something that, you need to have some time to deep think it and like really write about it. Are there writing exercises?
I'll have writing exercises too. I have, and I'm gonna, oh, you're not gonna be up there, but I have this is my to-go box for Trinity.
To
So
go.
I
Oh, good, you're
have,
reading it?
I have
Yeah.
this, a guided journal for
Mhm.
it. So
nice.
I'll be able to pick out some exercises and some things like that to help guide us through it. But
Mhm.
seriously, like I don't know if you could see, like, no, that's all in pencil. I just have, it is so marked up. It is a really powerful book.
It is.
It's
And
like the Julia Cameron one, right? Where we got to really think.
they're like classics in so
Mhm.
many ways. And the reason for that, I mean, I call this a classic. How long ago was this written? At least 30 years ago. When did he write this? When did you last
the
read it,
90s?
Carrie? Do you know?
I don't know, but I read it when I was in San Jose, probably 10 years ago or more.
Mm.
It was my 2020 book. So I'll just leave it at that. Yeah, there was a lot. I mean, I was doing a lot of soul searching, and this book certainly helped with that. So I hope it will be helpful. If you guys have any thoughts about when would be a good time, like if we do it, if we continue it, how we had the Mastery of Love, and I think even before that, Julia Cameron, I think that was Sundays at 10. And
Yeah.
it's possible, okay, here the truth is part of me thinks about going skiing in the winter. And I'm like, will that mess with my skiing?
That's what I thought.
About your need
Have
to
a
go skiing.
pre-recorded class. Have a
Yeah.
pre-recorded class.
And skiing feeds your soul, so that's important.
Right,
Mhm.
right.
What about every other Sunday? Then you can ski and everybody can have their
Right.
Sunday
And
family
maybe, yeah, because
time.
then maybe I could coordinate it with like, the Sundays where we have the evening classes will also have I don't know. To be determined.
Right.
Yeah.
The hardest part has been decided. And it's just, I also think that it is, because there's a lot here. I mean, shoot, I think it's really, really good to discuss it with other people. I mean, you
Yeah.
can't do it alone, but I mean, I have so many notes, so many notes in this book. So I'm excited to reread it because it has stuck with me. But yeah, yeah,
Nice.
that's that.
Oh,
Yeah.
don't do that, buddy.
Okay.
It'll be here tomorrow.
Look at that. Boom.
We got magic button
Oh,
on
boy.
Amazon.
Yeah. Yeah.
Want it
send-
now?
Oh,
Heck yeah, I want it now.
Cool. Cool.
Is
So
it a softbound?
Yeah.
Is it got
Yeah,
space to write in the book?
It's
Or is it a second book that's kind
paperback.
of your workbook?
Yeah, let me see the cover of it again. Should I get the workbook too?
I don't know. I've never looked at the workbook.
Okay.
I read it without the workbook. I'm curious.
Yeah, great.
Jerry, what's your input? Jerry,
Carrie's telling me,
My dog is talking to me. I'm so sorry.
like, please get up from your chair now.
Oh,
It must be important, Sherry. I'm thinking it's important.
I like the
Potty
idea
time.
of working with it, writing it, writing your thoughts and reactions to what you read.
Oh my goodness. This is a serious conversation.
Oh, look. Oh, look. There you go.
Yeah.
He's looking out the window now.
Go look outside. Yeah, I don't know about this. It looks like it's journaling prompts.
Yeah.
I can't.
I've never done it. I don't know how dedicated to the journal I will be, but I will certainly share some of the journal prompts with y'all But for me, when I read it, I just marked up my book like crazy. And then probably in my
Love
own
it.
journal was writing some thoughts about it.
Right.
Yeah, a lot about it is about like all the noise up here,
Mm,
which is why it's perfect for the winter because it's like stillness. Like, how do we get
mhm,
there? Yeah.
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 And book club is always free. So anybody that you know that you talk to that is looking for some inner wisdom, invite them to join us. And by January 1st, I'll have some sort of an idea of how that's going to flow. Yeah.
And Kimber,
Mhm.
Kimber, you just ordered it online?
Just now, $9.99.
Boom.
It'll be
Okay,
here
that
tomorrow.
sounds-
Jeez.
Amazon.
Amazon, of course.
Magic, right?
We have a, what do you call it, a warehouse right by
Right
us.
there,
That's why.
yeah.
I know, it's just
Yeah.
right down the street. Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Can you go knock on their door?
Could you imagine? Just go shopping at that Amazon warehouse.
Oh, wow. And you'd get lost probably. I bet it's as big as,
Oh, it's
Amazon.
huge.
Yeah.
It's huge.
All right, ladies, I have to go get my shoes on and get on the road.
All right, you go, girl. Thanks
Yeah.
for being here. Thanks for
Yeah.
being a part of Astrology of the Magi.
Thank you.
I look forward to continuing the journey, shifting and doing more applicable work. Like it's not like we're done with Magi. It's just we're going to incorporate it differently. And I think I'm going to structure it like where we might just have reading days and mindset and readings and yeah.
And have a wonderful, wonderful time this weekend.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Thinking of you all.
Thank you.
Have
Thank
a
you.
good
Thank you.
time.
Yes, and
Bring me back a
everybody
pine
Yeah.
enjoy your solstice
cone.
and start celebrating that the days are just gonna grow brighter and brighter. It's like, yes,
Let our light shine.
yes,
That's a good
yes,
thing, yeah.
exactly. Exactly. All right, everybody. Thanks for being here.
Okay,
Have a
bye.
Have a
great
Merry
you.
Christmas, everybody.
Merry
Hope everybody does
Christmas,
well.
all
See you
those
guys.
Merry
I'll see you guys.
Christmas. Love you. See you in a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes,
see you over
ma'am.
the
I'll
new
see you
year.
soon.
All right.
talk to you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
See you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.